All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar, How to Trade Like the Pros. Hope everybody's doing well. Had a great day. Nice market rally today. Just want to do a quick sound check just to make sure you guys can hear me okay. Was having audio issues in my last webinar. Thank you, Jason. Awesome. Jason says, got you. It's not garbling. Sounds coming through okay. Fantastic. I want to welcome everybody that is joining me via GoToWebinar and YouTube as well. We are streaming live on YouTube. My name is Jerry D'Ambrosio. I'm the manager of educational content here with VectorVest. This is our education team. When I first started with VectorVest about 17 years ago, there was one or two people in the education department. You can see it's grown quite a bit over the years. And back then we really focused on the VectorVest system, market analysis, stock analysis, how to create layouts, graph layouts, how to create searches, run back tests, portfolios. That's really what we focused on back then, teaching our subscribers how to use the program. Now we've, not only do that, but we've branched out and evolved, I think. We teach investors how to use options, how to manage a retirement portfolio, and how to swing trade. And that's what we're going to talk about today. No matter what type of portfolio you guys are managing, we hope you're managing multiple portfolios. We got you covered. So we'll teach you different strategies and techniques no matter what type of portfolio you're managing. So I call them the three gets. Let's start off with get number one. Get a pen, a piece of paper, and something to drink. Of course, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's almost 5 o'clock here on the East Coast, although on a Wednesday, but to each his own. But grab a pen and a piece of paper. And you might want to take some notes. I think that'll help. Number two, get rid of any distractions. This is always tough later in the day. Maybe we're home. We have kids running around. Luckily, I don't at the moment. They'll be home in about an hour when we're done. Perfect timing. Because you guys are all here ready to learn. Okay, I really commend you for that. You want to become better traders. And that's what we're going to kind of go through here today. Today you're going to learn 5 common principles professional traders follow, an extremely easy and effective short-term trading strategy, and I emphasize short-term, and finally how to quickly and easily identify the best trades. And my promise to you is that if you follow the steps that we discussed today, you'll know exactly where to enter and exit each trade. We've got a lot to cover today. I really want you to stick with me to the end. If you stay with me to the end, I'll share with you a copy of today's slides. Just somebody remind me at the end. I sometimes forget. I have a lot of content, so just say at the end, say, Jerry, don't forget the slides, and I'll put them in the handout section of your GoToWebinar control panel. Okay. You're very welcome, Dennis. Will this webinar be reordered? I'm not sure what reordered means. It is being recorded, if that's what you meant. Yes, it is being recorded. You'll get a version of this session here that I did yesterday, I think, later on this evening. Okay. Yes, it is being recorded. Okay. All right. First off, let's talk about what makes a pro a pro. What are the qualities that separates these men and women from the average retail investor? We've heard that term a lot lately, right? Retail investors. And this segment here is all about getting you in the right mindset, kind of getting your mind right and approaching trading in a very unique way. This isn't your buy and hold retirement approach. This is for the capital that you have set aside to trade a little bit more actively. And again, we hope you're doing that. We hope you have money set aside to trade a little bit more actively, swing trading, where you're looking at technical setups and moving averages and things like that, volume and price breakouts, so many different technical setups and strategies that are suitable for your swing trading portfolio. We hope you have money set aside where you're managing, maybe self-directing a slower retirement-minded portfolio. Maybe you trade options and you have, some money set aside for options trading. So you're allocating different portions of your overall investment capital to these different vehicles and instruments. So the first thing professional traders are realistic. They're realistic. They know that there's no magic pill. There wasn't a magic pill that they took that made them better traders overnight. Success in this industry, in any industry, comes with time and effort. You know, professional traders will tell you that it didn't happen overnight. They put in the work, the years and years and years of research. Professional athletes doesn't happen overnight. They put in the work, years and years of practice and workouts and things like that. And any industry, you get to the top, you've done something right, you put in the time. Generally, it's not just handed to you. Okay, I know there probably are some exceptions, of course, but for the most part, it took hard work, and the success didn't happen overnight. Next is that they control their emotions. This is easier said than done, but they don't allow losing trades to affect them. They don't think of the results first. They focus on doing the right things, making the right trades, and they know that if they do that, the money will come. And we don't want to be like this guy, okay? Getting ticked off because we lost money. We, a couple of losing trades in a row, maybe 3, 4 losing trades in a row. As long as you're keeping those losers small, you live to trade another day. But you don't want to get discouraged when that happens, because it's going to happen, okay? One of the reasons they feel this way is because they place trades based on facts and data rather than gut feelings. And we've all been there, recommendations from family members or friends, or newsletters that pop up online all the time, right? You always get these stock recommendations. Pros don't trade that way. They look solely at the information in front of them per stock to make decisions. They're prepared. They know exactly when they're going to get out of a trade even before getting in. Can you say that? Can you answer that and say, yeah, I know exactly when I'm going to get out of every trade that I make before even getting in? And if you can, that's great. But the reason for this is they've examined and tested different techniques to figure out which one is best. It's not arbitrary. It's not, hey, I'm going to buy 5 stocks and I'm going to put a 10% stop on each stock. Okay, it's not that simple. Each strategy and setup should have its own unique profit target stop loss. Just depends on the technique that you're looking at and you're using. Lastly, most importantly, I think professional traders are disciplined. They stay sharp and focused when things are going well, but they're pretty resilient when things aren't going so well, going back to not allowing emotions and frustrations to make or affect decisions. They have a plan, they stick to that plan. Now, what happens if you continue to struggle with some of these things? The emotion part of it, right? Kind of going on tilt, if I can use a poker expression. You get a bad beat in poker, or you really have a bad hand. You got outplayed. You're known to go on tilt, which means that the decisions that you make going forward aren't going to be sound ones. And that's the same with investing and trading. If you allow emotions to kind of creep into the equation, you're not going to make sound decisions. All right. If you continue to struggle, you won't be playing this game too much longer, because losses will just keep building up, building up, building up. You'll wind up broke with no more money to invest. If done the right way, if you start to correct those mistakes, you'll know exactly what you're doing no matter the situation. You won't ever have to worry about or ask the question, what do I do now, right? I'm in this stock. I bought it here. It's now here. What do I do now? We don't want that question to ever be asked again. Okay, you should know exactly what to do no matter what happens. Think about the confidence that you'll have, and not stressing out all the time. Oh, what do I do now? What do I do now? If you keep asking yourself, what do I do now? You don't have a plan. Once you start to develop better habits, you'll start to see more consistent gains. Now, there is a big mistake, though, that traders make when first starting to implement short-term trading systems. They follow unproven, complicated strategies. They feel like they need to use 7 different technical indicators and 4 different types of moving averages to identify entries and exits. For some reason, traders who are just starting out trading this way, they find value in complexity. The total opposite is generally the result, in that you're going to be left confused and frustrated because you might be using signals that conflict or are redundant, and you don't know what's going on if you try to complicate things. Simple is better. You don't need a ton of indicators. And so what I want to show you today is a system, it's a trading system called the RSI2 trading system. Okay, it was developed by Larry Connors. You may have heard of him. He's been doing this for 40 plus years, decades of experience in the financial markets industry. He's an author. He developed this system called the RSI2. It focuses on stocks in long-term uptrends, but are experiencing short-term corrections. Okay, that's rather vague, isn't it? All right, stocks in long-term uptrends, but are experiencing short-term corrections. Don't worry, he defines those types of situations, right? You need to kind of quantify exactly what we're talking about. And what I love about this system, it's so simple. It uses 3 indicators. That's it. So let's quantify what a long-term uptrend means. Long-term uptrend, we're using the 200-day simple moving average. 200-day simple moving average for the long-term trend, and a 5-day simple moving average, and the 2-period RSI relative strength index for the short-term trend. So let me show you how this strategy works. So here we're looking at Procter & Gamble from November of 2018 to November of 2019. Don't worry why I went back so far. I'll explain why I went back so far in a little bit. I can teach you this technique on any stock during any time frame. I can go back to 1960 and pick a stock and teach you the system. That's what I'm doing first. We're teaching you the setup, how to trade the RSI2. So this type of stock is really the type of stock you want to favor, right? So during this time period, the overall price movement, fantastic. Bottom left to upper right, it stays above the 200-day moving average the entire time. So what does that tell us? That tells us that we're in a long-term uptrend. But like all stocks do, from time to time, price pulls back. It pulls back and it falls below its 5-day simple moving average. That's the white line running through price. Long-term uptrend, short-term correction. Okay. Obviously, it's called RSI2, so that's only 2 of the 3 indicators used. The third indicator is the RSI, the relative strength index. You can see it down at the bottom here. RSI is scaled between 0 and 100. And the industry standard look-back period is 14 days, if you're looking at a daily chart, which we are, with the lower extreme level at 30 and the upper extreme level at 70. And you can plot RSI on any stock, over any time frame. Now, using the industry standard settings, pay attention now, 14-day look-back, you can see that the 14-period RSI fell below 30 only once during this time frame now. This is a year and a half now. Okay? So the industry standard look back and the level of 30 isn't exactly what Larry Connors was looking for. So what he did was he sped up the indicator. He shortened the look back period from 14 to 2. And when he did that, he also lowered the extreme level from 30 to 10. You might be asking to yourself, why a 2 RSI? Why not a 4? Why not a 6? Why 10? Okay, why not 20? Because this combination of these 3 indicators work the best. I'm sure he tried a 4 and maybe a 150 moving average and maybe like an 8-day EMA or something. I'm sure he tried different combinations, and this is what worked the best. Okay, so here's your setup. Here's your setup. Price above the 200-day moving average, but below the 5-day moving average, and, not or, and the 2-period RSI below 10. Price above the 200-day moving average, long-term uptrend, but falls below the 5-period moving average, short-term downtrend, confirmed by the 2-period RSI being below 10. All right, so let's take a look at what this trading plan looks like written down. Here are the entry rules. We buy only when the stock is above the 200-day moving average and below the 5-day moving average with the 2-period relative strength index below 10. And here's the kicker, and which is a little unusual. We enter near the close of the day. Near the close of the day. A lot of times with swing trading strategies and most strategies, we're entering the next day's open, right? Or the next day if we get confirmation. Nothing like that here. When I trade this system, I use market orders and I put it in at about 3:50, 3:55 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. And those are the entry rules. Notice that it says here exit criteria. It doesn't say stop loss. It doesn't say profit target. It's an exit criteria. The exit criteria is we exit when price goes above the 5-day simple moving average, and we exit near the close of that day. So we're entering positions and exiting positions near the close of a given trading session. And we're using market orders to get in and out. All right, let's take what it looks like on a chart. July 23rd, 2019. White line is the 5-day moving average. Green line is the 2-period RSI. And the red line is the value of 10. Now notice we don't see the purple line on this chart, right? It's because we've zoomed in too close. Just know that with all the examples and setups that I'm going to show you here, I'm going to show you about 8 or so, price is above the 200-day moving average, even though we can't see it. Okay, so on July 23rd, 2019, price, I'm going to go through the rules. Price above the 200-day moving average, long-term uptrend, but you can see kind of experiencing a little short-term softening, right, a short-term correction, where price has fallen below the 5-day moving average and the 2-period RSI below 10. So we're noticing that near the close of the session on July 23rd of 2019, and we're going to get in. We're going to put a market order in and buy near the close of that day at right around 113.85. Now, I don't know what the price was at 3:55 p.m. Eastern time on July 23rd, 2019. So for the purposes of my examples here, I'm just going to use the closing price of the day. 113.85 was roughly our cost basis. So we're in. When do we exit? 1, 2, 3 days later at 114.73. I told you it was very short term, right? I told you it was a very short term trading system. Average holding period is between 2 to 5 days. So on that day, that's July 26th of 2019, that price actually opens below the 5-day moving average, but crosses above it during the day. We could see clearly that it's going to it closed above it. So we exit the trade near the close of that day. And that's a winning trade. I want you guys to focus not on how much money am I making for each of these trades. I don't want you to focus on that. I want you to focus on, am I making money or not? So that's what we're going to do first, and then we'll slap on a kind of a monetary gain metrics to this in a little bit. But that's a winning trade. The very next day was another setup, wasn't it? July 24, 2019. Let's say you didn't buy the stock the day before. I don't know, for whatever reason. You didn't have any buying power left. You weren't watching the market. You weren't feeling well. You're on vacation, whatever. You didn't buy it the day before. But you turn on your computer. You say, okay, I'm going to buy stocks today. I have buying power. Procter & Gamble above the 200-day moving average, falling a little further below the 5-day moving average, and the 2-period RSI below 10 still. So on that day is another setup. If you buy there at roughly 113.15, you're still going to sell a couple of days later at 114.73. That's another winning trade. I'm showing you winning setups. So I may show, for example, I could show you 20, right? And not that you would take all 20. Because if you took the one on July 23rd, you're not taking the one again on July 24th. You don't buy more of it if it's falling. But if you didn't take it on July 24th, you could have bought it on July 23rd. You could have bought it on July 24th. So, for example, if I showed you 20 setups, maybe you truly take 16 of them. But out of those 20 setups, 18 of them were winners. So that's really what your odds of success are. The very next setup was August 5th. I'm not going to skip over any dates. I'm just going to go left to right on this chart. So the very next day setup was August 5th. Price of the stock is still in a long-term uptrend, but clearly experiencing a short-term correction. Price has fallen below the 5-day moving average. It did close below the 5-day moving average on that day. It closed below the 5-day moving average on that day, but those weren't setup days because the 2-period RSI was not below 10. Nice sell-off there on August 5th. That's the day that the 2-period RSI dips below 10. We buy there at 113.08. We sell 2 days later when we see price about to close above that 5-day simple moving average. Another gain. All right, so 3 for 3 so far. 3 potential setups, 3 winning setups. Next one was September 10th, so we had to wait about a month. This is not something where you're going to be trading the same stock, 2-3 times a week. Sometimes you trade it, the setup won't show itself for another month like it did here, September 10th of 2019. Price is still in a long-term uptrend, but experiencing a short-term correction. Price below the 5-day moving average, 2-period RSI below 10. You buy there at roughly 119.88. You sell, nice quick gain there in just 2 days. 122.77. That's another winning trade. Okay. October 2nd, 2019. Price is still above the 200-day moving average, but below the 5-day moving average and the 2-period RSI below 10. Another setup. Another situation where we're in a long-term uptrend but experiencing a short-term correction. You buy there at about 121.08. You sell a couple of days later. Really nice gain. Perfect trade there because you sold basically at the high of that day and then the stock broke down after that. So kind of a perfect trade. I see a lot of these. You're buying at the low, you're selling at the high. It's a fantastic system. Hey, that's another winning trade. I don't think we've lost yet. Now here, October 14th of 2019, rules are still in place. Price above the 200, but below the 5-day, 2-period RSI below 10. Now here, if you buy at 120.05, you sell there at 119.08. That's a losing trade, right? I know what the price did the next day. We know that now. We didn't know it then, so we're not going to say, well, you should have held that. No, we're not going to play that game. The rules were met. We sell at 119.08. A little bit of a loss there. Okay. Notice how, again, it's not a stop loss. It's just an exit criteria. It winds up being a stop loss because you're down, you're going to take the loss, but it's not a stop loss in the traditional sense. It's an exit criteria. Think of it that way. Now, if you took that trade, yes, you would have lost. If you didn't take that trade, for all the reasons that I mentioned earlier about, not watching the market that day or whatever, you had an opportunity on October 15th, and if you buy that at 117.20, you sell there at 119.08, and you had another setup there at 116.63 to sell at 119.08. So out of the 3 setups here, you made money on 2, you lost on 1. How many wins and how many losses was that? Did anybody keep track? I did, so don't worry if you didn't. 7 winners and 1 loser. So you can look at that as your hit rate expectancy. 7 winners and 1 loser. And I know that's a very small sample size on 1 stock. So I decided to kind of run through that same exercise. I told you, I explained why I went all the way back to November of 2018, right? So I went to November of 2018 all the way to current. And I ran through that same exercise. I identified all of the buy and sell signals over the last, almost 5 years. And there were a total of 78 RSI2 setups. I showed you guys 8 of them. There were a total of 78. There were 65 winning trades, 13 losing trades. That's an 84% winning trade percentage. So you could have traded the RSI2 strategy on Procter & Gamble for the last almost 5 years, and you would have won 84% of the time. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And that also includes the last year or so, because during this time frame here, from May to November, there were no trades for Procter & Gamble. You didn't trade Procter & Gamble because the price of the stock was below the 200-day moving average. During this time period here, even though the 2-period RSI was below 10 a number of times, the price of the stock was below the 200-day moving average, so you wouldn't have taken any trades here. So it keeps you out of trouble, and it really, really allows you to participate in the strong uptrends and the short-term pullbacks within those uptrends. All right, so that was one stock. Pretty good, one stock. Now, Procter & Gamble was once a high CI stock. What is CI? CI stands for Comfort Index. It's a VectorVest proprietary indicator that measures the stock's ability to withstand long or lengthy downturns. If you've heard of the Ulcer Index rises the more a stock price falls. The CI indicator rises, it's on a 0 to 2 scale, by the way. It rises the more a stock price rises. So high CI stocks that go from bottom left to upper right on a 1 year plus chart are the stocks that we want to favor. So as of March 7th of 2023, the top CI stocks in the S&P 500 no oil watch list were the stocks that you see here, the 5 symbols. These are the top CI stocks. This right here is not cherry picking, right? Procter & Gamble, I admit it, that was just a cherry pick stock. I wanted to teach you the system. I had to pick a stock, right? This is kind of performance analysis, and also it's rank analysis, because when you take a list of stocks, and 500 is not a small list, you take a list of 500 stocks, you force rank them by a certain indicator, and you take the top stocks from that list and compare performance. That is what VectorVest is all about. It's not cherry picking. So over this 1 year period from March 7th of 22 to March 7th of 23, there were 89 RSI2 setups across all 5 stocks. 74 winning trades, 15 losing trades. Now that's an 83% winning trade percentage. Also very, very good. This is generally what I see when I do this webinar. Anywhere between 65 to 90% winning trades. And that's, look, and I know that's a rather large kind of window there, but I'll take anywhere in between. Since March 7th of 2023, those same stocks had 52 RSI, additional 52 RSI setups. It was something like 80 something from March 7th of 22 to March 7th of 23, something like 80 setups or something like that, right? But from March 7th of 23 all the way just to a couple of days ago, same 5 stocks, 52 RSI 2 setups, 33 winners, 19 losers. Okay, only a 63% winning trade percentage. Now I say only, don't get me wrong, I am not upset or disappointed at 63% winning trades. 63% winning trades is fantastic on a 52 basket, 52 sample size trade basket there. So what I wanted you guys to focus on first is winning percentage, expected hit rate. What you're looking at here is a long-term portfolio. Long-term portfolio going back to February 8th of 2010. It centers around and buys stocks that meet the same RSI2 setup that I just taught you. The exit criteria with this portfolio is a little different. Unfortunately, within the VectorVest program, we don't have, and this is an automated portfolio, by the way, we don't have a way to automate, sell a position when price closes above the 5-day moving average. I wish we did, we don't. So when I was years ago, pre-COVID years ago, I mean, 2017, 16, that long ago, when we were first putting together and kind of researching the RSI2 system, I said, folks want an automated way to do this. They may not want to be in front of the computer at the end of every day and say, all right, is price above the 5-day moving average? If it is, great, I'll sell it. They want an automated system. We learned many years ago that, some folks like to cherry pick and do things manually, but a lot of folks want an automated system. So back then I created this system. Exit criteria is a little different. And I'll explain kind of why that is in a little bit later. But pretty good equity curve. Obviously, post-COVID market volatility you can just see is increasing. But look at where we are. We're just off of the all-time high. Just off of the all-time high this year. 846% gain since February 8th of 2010. Everybody sitting down? You guys ready? 266 winning trades and only 20 losing trades. That's a 93% winning trade percentage. When I first created this portfolio, this trading system back in 2016, we were looking at the same winning percentage. Now we were back here. Portfolio equity curve was a lot smoother, but even then we were looking at 93% winning trades. And we've had it's had its rough times along the way, but all in all, but it continues to produce an enormous amount of winning trades compared to losing trades. Now, those losing trades are going to be big losers, but they're very few, and they obviously do not affect the long-term performance over time. The VectorVest composite over the same time period, 148%, so about 2x, 2.5x. VVC went up about 2.5x over the same time period. We went up 7.5x. Crushed the performance of the market. Now, you might be thinking, well, I don't have time. If I'm going to do this the manual way, the automated system looks good, but if I got to do this the manual way, I got to look at a lot of charts. No, what I'm about to tell you eliminates all of the time that you think you'll need to spend. No matter what we teach you here at VectorVest, we want you to be able to do it faster, smarter, and better. By the way, a couple of folks were asking, that automated system doesn't use market timing. It just goes long using the very unique stocks system that Larry Connors had created. You might be asking, how can I do this? I love this system. This is another technique that I need to add to my swing trading repertoire. How can I take my game to the next level? Instead of taking bits and pieces of what I taught you today, I'd like to kind of just give you all the answers. So that's why we put together this 6-week webcast series where we teach you techniques from 3 of the very best professional traders in the industry. We talk about Larry Connors and 2 other pros. You'll learn top trading strategies of the pros and how to quickly and easily identify the best trades. I hope you saw that if you learn to implement strategies like the one I showed you today, you'll achieve the success that you're looking for. So this is a 6-module course. Let's kind of get into the meat that's on the bone. It's a 6-module course. The modules are all pre-recorded. We will meet live for our class coming up in a couple weeks. I'll talk about that. But module number 1, we start things off by getting you in the correct mindset, making sure you understand what it's going to take to trade like a professional trader. Risk management and order entry, 2 very important segments in that first module, and that's going to carry over and carry into all of the techniques that we teach here. So module number 2, bullish and bearish candlestick reversal signals, how to trade those using stochastics, using support and resistance. Module number 3, gaining the trader's edge. This is about the market. What is the market doing, and which indicator is ideally suited for that type of market environment? And then in module number 4, by the way, myself and Steve Chappell, Steve is the Director of Trading Systems Development at VectorVest. He is your other instructor. He and I are your instructors. He comes in module number 4 and teaches us about the Holy Grail. This is a system that was created by Linda Ratchke. She's done a lot of work with Larry Connors. If you're familiar with her work, they wrote a book together. Holy Grail, fantastic system. Uses a 20-day moving average and ADX. Very short term as well, but it's for both bullish and bearish markets. Module number 5, I teach you 2 systems from Charles Schaap called the 50-50 strategy and 80 excellence. I love the 50-50. It's a little bit more intermediate term, not as short term as the Holy Grail and the RSI2, kind of in that middle of the road type strategy. And then the highlight of the course, in my opinion, is the RSI2 and the RSI25. RSI25 is a technique that Larry Connors developed exclusively for ETFs, similar to the RSI2, but again, just for ETFs. So let's get into some bonuses. Not only will you get 1-year access to the Trade Like a Pro course in the university, but we're going to throw in 1-year access to this course called Master the Art of Candlestick Analysis. In module number 2 of Trade Like a Pro, we teach you just a couple of bullish and bearish candlestick reversal signals. Here are 6 modules worth of bullish and bearish candlestick reversal signals. Now, we value this course in the university at $995, but we're going to throw this in for 1 year as part of the Trade Like a Pro course. That course, that Master the Art of Candlestick Analysis, no live mastery sessions, all self-study. Trade Like a Pro, we will be meeting live 6 times. These sessions here, these live mastery sessions, are designed to help you implement the things that you learned in the module. We'll take a look at the things you're doing, questions you have. We'll guide you through the entire process. You'll also be given a homework assignment after each module, and we'll go over that homework assignment in the live mastery sessions. What Steve and I do in these mastery sessions as well is we look for trades that day. So let's say it's module number 4, mastery session number 4. We taught the Holy Grail. Steve's going to look for Holy Grail setups on that day, on the mastery session day. Because in the module, they're historical examples that we teach, right? We use historical examples to teach you the strategy. In the mastery sessions, we apply that to the real market and look for ideal candidates. So I love these mastery sessions. They're really helpful. If you don't currently have VectorVest 7 Premium, which is our real-time data for the U.S. market, I want to make sure you have access to it during the course, so you're going to get 70 days access to the VectorVest 7 Premium program. If you already have it, you don't get any extra time. This is just a trial during the course. For those that don't have VectorVest Premium, VectorVest Premium includes pro trader searches, which you're going to see in a second come in really handy, and the auto timer as well, very important for automating a back test. One of my favorite sessions, this is the last live session that we'll do. This is the week after mastery session number 6. It's a live trading session. This bonus session is where we implement everything that we learned over the 6 weeks. I'll show you how to use RoboTrader to manage your trades, and we'll be stepping you through everything from market analysis, trade setup, trade execution, and trade management. And then this is huge too. Exclusively for workshop attendees, you will receive pre-built searches that make finding your trades a breeze. You're probably thinking, great, all right, they're going to teach us the RSI2 and the Holy Grail and the 50-50. How am I going to find my trades? The legwork has been done already. I built these scans to quickly and easily identify the best candidates to trade. And the great part about this is they'll be inserted into your programs. You don't have to go through the time to build them yourselves. And finally, a lot of bonuses in this course. You're going to get this automated trading system. Number of stocks to hold, industry and sector diversification, methods of redeploying funds, exit criteria, all those little variables. Do I replace or not replace? All those little variables included in an automated system, you will get special with the Trade Like a Pro course. Remember, this is over the last 13 years now, 93% winning trades. You only had to suffer through 20 losers with an 865% gain. And look, volatility is picking up. And I know that if you started a few months ago, right, you start a new campaign on a new technique that you learned a few months ago and you're underwater already. But boy, I mean, if you can't trust in a system like this, that even though you might break down a little bit from time to time, and this is the COVID crash, very unique, you're moving higher and higher and higher every year. So very, very a solid long-term system. Most importantly, you get hands-on training by both Steve and myself. We're going to be there in the mastery sessions to answer any questions that you have throughout the course. So I just went through everything that you get. 6 pre-recorded modules, 6 live mastery support sessions, a live bonus session, 1 year access to the candlestick course, VectorVest 7 Premium if you don't already have it, the scans, the searches, right? The automated back test, the automated RSI2 portfolio, and we are going to invite you and give you access to our swing trading coaching room for 6 weeks during the course. You might be familiar with the swing trading coaching room. It's a coaching group. We have 4 different levels of coaching groups. We've migrated from GoToWebinar to a new 24-hour, 7-day-a-week coaching room, which you will be given access to during the Trade Like a Pro course. The swing trading coaching group, we meet once a week, 2:30 p.m. Eastern time on Thursdays, but the room is always open. You know, it's kind of like Facebook, where it's a nice community of just like-minded people that are part of or members of the swing trading coaching group or guests from a course like Trade Like a Pro, and you just talk trading. You can chat about trading. You can kind of ask questions in the room. You know, Facebook can be, beneficial in some ways. You know, when you create these groups in Facebook, they're private groups, right? So you got like-minded people sharing ideas. It's the public Facebook forums that are a little bit toxic, if you know what I mean. But these kind of private groups are fantastic. We're getting off of Facebook and we're migrating to the room, so that's exciting. This course, though, is valued at $29.95. We have an early bird rate that's available, $24.95. But for you guys, exclusively, because you took the time out to be here with me, we're going to knock an extra couple of $100 off. So I'm going to type in that address that you see at the bottom there, www.vectorvest.com/TLP. Make sure I spelled it right. You could just click on it. $22.95. You get all of those bonuses that I talked about. Listen, this is 100% money back guaranteed. $22.95, not a small amount of money. But if you go through the course, you've shown you've done the work, you've done the assignments, you've watched the recordings, you're still not satisfied, you don't think any of the techniques will help you make money, we'll gladly give you a refund. Now, we take the strategies away, we take the searches away in the automated trading system, but we'll gladly give you a refund. All right, so when's our first mastery session? It is 3 weeks from yesterday, October 24th, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You'll see the dates there. When you register for the course, you will get an email with all of these dates and instructions and directions on how to access the course. When you register and you log in and you access the course, you will see all of the content there. You can watch as many modules as you'd like right away. We have about 3 weeks till we start our mastery session number 1, which will only cover the contents of module number 1. We're not going to skip around and kind of cover too much all at once. Mastery session number 2, we're going to cover the contents of module number 2. When you go into the course, you will see the old mastery sessions that Steve and I did a few months back. Those were live sessions that we did, a few months ago for that class. Now, our class, we'll be doing live sessions, and we'll be replacing the old mastery sessions with the ones that we do for our class here. And 3 months from now, when Steve and I do another course, another class, ours will be replaced by the ones that we do then. So you're always getting, over the next year, rolling content, right? Rolling new mastery sessions. Live trading session is on December 5th. That's the week after the 6th mastery session. This session begins at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Rather early. I mean, it's an hour before the market opens, but we do everything that's necessary in that hour. Market analysis, determining your directional bias, trade setup, running scans, looking at charts, setting up watch lists, market opens, checking the futures. We do everything from start to finish. We execute trades, and we talk about trade management as well. Okay. I mentioned before that the RSI-2 trading system did not use market timing. Not using market timing with that automated system worked better than using, market timing signals. I tried all the market timing signals. That's how you create a system like that, right? You go through it all. 5 stocks, 10 stocks, 7 stocks, this combination of stop criteria. I mean, it takes months and months and months and months to kind of land on something like that. So I tried confirm calls and all the other signals, and using no market timing worked the best. All right, folks. www.vectorvest.com. We have 3 weeks till we start. Now, the $22.95 rate available is only available for the next couple of days. Otherwise, it's going to revert back to the early bird rate of $24.95. So, that's a special rate for you guys being on the webinar today. If you're an elite subscriber, your elite rate is $14.97.50, half off the regular price. That rate is always available. But we offer the $22.95 just for a short period of time. Basically while I do these webinars. But look, Steve and I, on behalf of Steve, we look forward to working with you. I love this course, one of my favorites. I use the Holy Grail. I use the 50/50. I use the RSI-2. Love candlestick signals. So a lot of good stuff here that's going to really help you guys become much better swing traders. So hope to see you guys soon. We start in 3 weeks. So have a great day, everybody.